one of the other trends we see with the consumer is this regret about buying a home. If they have that regret, it can really reflect poorly on the real estate agent. What we often see is that something will come up after they move in and they'll come back to us and we'll walk them through, okay, this is how you fix it. We'll put them at ease, send someone out to take care of it. That puts them in this position where they don't feel regret about the purchase, and it reflects better on the real estate agent long term.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Triangle Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Fagioli. I am super excited to introduce you to a new friend who has a service that is really helping both the consumer and the agent, I think. And I can't wait for you guys to hear the backstory and how all of this came together for HomeCloud. So let's welcome George Kirkland. How you doing, man?
Hey, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, we got to meet finally at PropTech South, and loved the story of your company and why you built it and how you're helping both the consumer and helping agents and brokers, and how that works for Triangle MLS members. And so can't wait to unpack it here. So, well,
yeah, and I just also want to say that you guys have been great and so accepting to the tech scene here. And I've been hearing that, since since before the mats, pre-mats, things were a lot different. But after starting this company, the first time I heard from you guys, Matt was throwing a dinner with tech entrepreneurs, prop tech entrepreneurs in downtown Durham. He's had events since then. Now you guys did the conference, and it's obvious that you guys want to make changes for good, and you're on the right track. I know it's a lot of work and it's stressful, but sounds like there's a lot of positive changes going on.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And, it's certainly Matt Fowler is the one leading the charge. I'm just a cheerleader here on the bus with everybody, but it is an incredible thing that's happening at Triangle. And Triangle is MLS is well on its way to becoming the best MLS in the country, which I know is the objective. And a big piece of that is advancing the tech, not only on the back end, but with a bunch of amazing partners like HomeCloud. So,
Yeah.
but thanks for highlighting that. And but George, before we dig too far in, though, tell us how you got here. I know you have a deep entrepreneurial past, and I want to catch everybody up on who you are.
Yeah, so definitely have an interesting background. I don't necessarily come from real estate, but there are some connections. And so I actually grew up here in Raleigh, Durham. Went to UNC. I've got my UNC cup here. You've got a lot of UNC realtors and brokers.
It's good product placement there, bro. Appreciate it.
In the network. And I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but coming out of college, I got recruited to go and be an investment banker. And I thought that'd be a good place to start a career, build a network. And so I actually moved up to New York. I was in the real estate investment banking group there. So I was interested in real estate. And I did that for 5 years. But ultimately, I always wanted to be a tech guy. And so in 2012, I moved out to San Francisco and started an ed tech company. I think for me, one of the things that I'm always focused on is disrupting around big financial consumer decisions. And so the first one was, going to college. How do I pay for college? There's not a lot of transparency around that. And so we reimagined the way that students earn scholarships, discover colleges, and find the right college and pay for college. Now it's about, how do I buy a house, maintain it, take care of it? How do I take care of that expensive asset? Something that a lot of consumers really struggle with. And I find myself going into industries where I don't have experience, and trying to innovate and pushing back against a lot of the norms of how things have always been done. And so that company raised me. We ran that for 8 years. And then in 2020, we sold the company right at the beginning of the pandemic. And I very quickly left San Francisco. So I think the pandemic started kind of officially on a Wednesday. On Friday, me and my two kids, my wife and my dog, we were on a plane back to North Carolina, one-way ticket. Uh, we didn't know if we were going to go back, and turns out we never did. And so that was that's how we ended up moving to North Carolina, back to North Carolina. It was a good way to get my wife, who's from the Bronx, to move to what she would maybe consider a area a little bit more rural, maybe a secondary or tertiary city. I don't think that way. But yeah, we moved back, and part of my story is that's when I went from kind of a forever renter, having been renting in college, then in New York and San Francisco, to buying my first home and becoming a homeowner. And actually that year, I also got very lucky because interest rates were low. It was the beginning of the pandemic. People were still scared. They weren't bunkering down. So it was right before things started to spike. And I actually bought two properties. I bought a duplex rental property out in Chapel Hill. And then I bought the house that I'm sitting in right now. And that whole experience is what led to the idea for HomeCloud.
Mm. Well, that's a great segue, and I think it's great. I've been in real estate and in the tech side of real estate for 20 years, and lots of the companies that are coming to the real estate industry are born from insiders who are trying to make improvements in the way things get done. But a lot of the coolest stuff that's happened in real estate comes from outsiders, because you come in and have an experience, in your case as a consumer, and go, well, wait, this can be done better. So tell us about the problems that you saw and how HomeCloud is solving that.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, what happened is, let me frame it this way. So, when you buy a house, it's a super, super stressful time, right? And one, it's finding the right house, but then there's all these decisions you have to make in terms of moving. I call it home setup. So I need to get homeowners insurance. I need to get, my mortgage. I need to get internet, TV setup. You need to make repairs. You need to make improvements. You need to put old things in storage, sell things, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a super, super stressful time already. And once you get into the home, you kind of look around and you're like, okay, like what do I do now? How do I optimize this asset that I just bought? Do I need to get an energy assessment? Is my house energy efficient? What kind of improvements can I make? What maintenance schedule do I need to put this house on? But the home is one of, if not your biggest asset. But there's no real guidance on how to manage your home. And so you think about your health. Okay, I've got a primary care doctor. You think about your finances. You might have a stockbroker, someone who helps you buy the stocks and then also, sell and trade them over time, and optimize it. But nobody's really helping you optimize your home. And so I remember sitting at my desk, and it's probably the desk I'm sitting at right now. And I was like, what do I do now? And I thought, okay, well, let me look at my home inspection report. Surely, I spent $600 on it. Surely it's going to give me this great plan on, hey, here's all the information we collected while we were on site, and here are the next steps you need to take. And I grabbed it and I pulled it up. I had two actually from both properties I bought, and they looked similar but very different at the same time. And I read them and I left more confused than ever. I was surprised that they weren't digital. There was a list of problems, not solutions. There wasn't context. There's no prioritization in terms of what needed to get done. They might tell me what was wrong right then, but they didn't give me insight into, hey, in 2 years, you're going to need to do this, or in 5 years, you're going to need to replace your roof. They didn't tell me things I was interested in knowing that I would consider part of the evaluation, like, what's the energy efficiency of your home? More modern ways of evaluating a home, or what are the smart home capabilities that your home has? And I thought, wow, it's crazy that you have 85% of people that buy a home go through this process. They purchase this thing. It's a ubiquitous part of the home buying transaction. It's not inexpensive. How is it that we're okay with this output? There's got to be a better way. And so that's when we came up with the idea for HomeCloud. And we thought, what if consumers could rethink this process completely, and they were going to pay for a new way to evaluate a home? What would it look like? And so what we've done is we've built an app that captures pictures, videos of a home. We actually send someone into the home. They're called a data collector. We digitize all of the home information, and instead of giving back homeowners this home inspection report, we give them this digital home management app. It's almost like a digital operating manual for your home, and it tells you everything that needs to be fixed. We put prices on everything. It tells you a maintenance schedule for your particular house. It's got measurements. It's got all your paint colors, all your user manuals, and it's all in one place, digital, online, available to share to anyone. Hence, HomeCloud, home information in the cloud. Um, and not only does it tell you what needs to be done, we provide fulfillment. So if you say, okay, there's this issue that you found, it needs to be fixed, we put a price on it, and then with one click, the homeowner can hire a service provider through the platform. We do the work, ensure that it's done correctly, warranty it, and then update the record of your home to say, hey, this job has been done. This is a record that you can build on over time. It's something that you can use to manage the property, and it's something that you can pass on to future homeowners when you move. And so that's high level. I could go into much more detail, but that's
Sure.
the gist of what we've built.
And the product basically is tied to the house, so it sort of moves with the ownership of the house to the next homeowner. Is that mainly how it works?
Yeah, and obviously it's early, so we haven't transferred that many of these homes, because what the average person stays in a home now, 6 to 9 years. But we've actually had a couple homes that have resold, and you could just share that record with the new homeowner. So it's nice. I don't like it when people say Carfax for the home, but if that helps people understand it in a sense, you could definitely think of it that way.
Yeah, that kind of data is, been elusive, and some people have tried to solve that problem. But I love the fact that you're approaching it from a inspection first perspective, partly because it's going to create a situation where a lot of the data is there. A lot of the platforms that I've seen that are similar to this in terms of keeping up with your home, well, they're kind of going to kind of put it on the homeowner to enter all that information, and that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, this is awesome. So I know that you're also, partnering with agents and brokers, and you're part of the Triangle MLS family now. And so talk about that. How does this work for me if I'm an agent or a broker?
Yeah. Initially, the way we were really looking at this is, hey, this is, the homeowner pays for a home inspection. What does the homeowner want? But as we talked to more and more agents, what we found out is that a lot of agents don't really love the home inspection process either. They have their own frustrations with it. So what we heard from them were a couple things. One, the minute the home inspection report comes in, I have to translate it. Because it's this super dense 75-page confusing report, I have to walk line by line with it and explain to the homeowner, this is a challenge, this is not a challenge. And one, that's time consuming, but two, now you're taking the liability back on yourself as a real estate agent, because you're actually opining on these items. And the whole idea of this third party diligence report is so that someone else can can do that work. And you don't have to tell the homeowner, hey, you should look at this foundation issue or you should not. It should be something that they can get from the report. So I think there's a big challenge there. But then the other thing that we hear from them is the minute it comes in, they immediately have to take that and see, okay, well, what's it going to cost to fix all of these things that were found? Because I need to then go negotiate with the listing agent and try to get some money back for my client. And so what they have to do in a lot of cases is go out to contractors and say, hey, what's the cost for this? They've got to coordinate contractors coming to the house. They've got to coordinate, additional, more in-depth inspections. That takes a lot of time and effort. Sometimes they actually have to pay to have a contractor come out and give them a quote because they've used contractors so many times to get quotes, but haven't sent them business. And now the contractors are saying, okay, well, if you want me to come out, and give you a quote, I need to charge you at this point. And then after that, what we hear from the agents is that now the homeowner's saying, okay, well, we need to start to get some of these things fixed. I know you're focused on closing the transaction, but I want to go ahead and hire somebody to paint the house. I want to hire someone to come in and make these repairs. Do you have someone you recommend? And so they become this almost coordinator of services, which is costly. You can't make money from it because of RESPA rules. It doesn't fall within the guidelines of the job. You want to get the transaction done, but also you want to provide good customer service. You want to do whatever you can to build a relationship with this homeowner, help them not just buy a house, but get it set up, build that relationship. And so although it doesn't necessarily, fit within the job description, it's something that agents spend a lot of time doing and isn't necessarily core. And so at HomeCloud, we said, well, we can help with this. We don't want, a real estate agent or homeowner to get an inspection report and feel like they're getting just a list of problems. We want to provide solutions, connect them with contractors. And so what we tell agents is who we partner with, we try to save them about 10 to 15 hours per transaction. And we do that by providing a report that they don't have to translate to the homeowner. It gives context. So we do things, for example, like we'll tell you how often a defect happens on a home. So, this deck is not built to modern safety standards. Our report says this happens on 67% of homes. And that tells the homeowner, okay, this is a problem that happens fairly often. We put a price on it, which helps them quantify how big of a problem it is. And so there's a lot less explaining by the homeowner, but then also we'll connect them with the contractors. So instead of the real estate agent having to go out, get quotes, facilitate work, we take that all off their plate. We warranty it. We do the fulfillment. And then the nice thing is we provide this platform that keeps you connected with the homeowner from there. So as soon as a homeowner moves in, HomeCloud is an app that gives them maintenance reminders. It has all their home documents, their permits and all that. And every time they open it up, it says brought to you by, Austin from eXp Realty. And so it's this constant reminder that, this agent is not just there with you, through the transaction, they're going to continue to provide support over time. And so often I find myself calling real estate agents and saying, hey, we just installed a mini split for Sincere Lewis over at Sweet Cream. Have you checked in with them lately? And it gives them a good opportunity to call over and say, hey, Sincere, heard you got a new air conditioner, like hope everything's going well. And so we want to help the agent stay connected, in a productive way around the home without having to do the work themselves and actually connect them with the contractor. So we do the tough stuff, but we keep them connected from a technology standpoint and an information standpoint.
That's so cool, man. Yeah, anything that can help to bring the consumer back, to connection with the agent, top of mind over time. We all in real estate, everybody talks about this constantly misquoted statistic about how, 92% of consumers end up not using the same agent again because agents do such a terrible job of follow up generally, and the 8% who do a great job are the ones who are repeating. And so any tools that can help maintain that connection, I know, are really powerful and appreciated by agents and brokers alike.
Yeah, and I would say that one of the other trends we see with the consumer is this regret about buying a home that where they didn't know what they were getting into. So I think the stats are something like 90% of people that are buying, that have bought homes in the last couple of years have regret. And 35% of it is because it's too much maintenance, and another 30% is it's more expensive than I expected, or there are things that I didn't recognize, were wrong with the home. And if they have that regret, it can really reflect poorly on the real estate agent. Why did you put me into this house? Why didn't the inspector find this? And what we find is that, an inspection report tells you what's wrong right now. It doesn't necessarily tell you what could go wrong in the future. And if something does go wrong in the future, the inspector is long gone and they don't have any responsibility there. But what we often see is that something will come up after they move in, and they'll come back to us and we'll walk them through, okay, this is how you fix it. We'll put them at ease. We'll put a quote on it, send someone out to take care of it. And, that puts them in this position where they don't feel regret about the purchase, and it reflects better on the real estate agent long term. And so we really we really aim to help the homeowner stay satisfied with their purchase, and not go back to the real estate agent and say, hey, why'd you put me into this house with X issue and it's been giving me problems. And so that's a big part of it as well.
Yeah, dude. Awesome. Awesome. Well, you're operating in North Carolina. You're deeply connected now to all of the members through Triangle MLS. How do agents engage if they're ready to try your service on their next inspection?
Yeah, so we are just this is just kind of our coming out party. I would say, although the company's been around for 2 years, so it took us a full year to build and test the technology. What I always tell people is you can't mess up an inspection. You can't put out an MVP, a minimum viable product. You have to build a product that not only finds all the issues, but finds more than the standard person would find going into a home. And so we tested it over and over. We refined our process, and we were working with a group of about 10 agents during that period. We did a couple hundred homes. Now we're opening it up to more agents. So actually, we went to the TMLS conference, PropTech South conference, and did a booth. We didn't present, but we met about 50 agents there. In the last week, we've already had 5 new agents use us, and we've got the capacity too. Because the other thing about inspections is, I need it now. I need it within the next 10 days, and same thing with repairs. I need these repairs done within 2 weeks before we move in. So we not only had to have the capacity on, can we do X amount of inspections in the next 2 weeks, but can we also help facilitate all those repairs, and get the reports back to people in 24 hours. And so the process that we have now is, if people are interested, we ask that they attend one of our webinars, and there's a link online where they can give their information, or that they schedule a 15-minute call with me, or one of our team members. And on that, we just educate them on what is HomeCloud, how does it work. We provide them with marketing resources. We don't call it a certification. I know the guys that you had on the show earlier, so both Matt and Frank, they have certified agents, which I really like, because if someone's using your product, you want them to understand it. You want to walk them through the technology, so that the first time they use it, they can answer questions if their homeowner has questions. And so we spend that time just to get them up to speed, answer questions, and then we show them where our link is to schedule online. And so when they use us, They have access to that link. They can go on, pick a time that works for them. They say, do they want inspection, radon, termite, what the add-on services are, where the address is, and then that's that. And we send out what we call a data collector. They go through our process, which is, on an app. It tells them exactly what to do. It's the same process every time. Reduces human error. It reduces bias. And it's consistent. You don't get, what John or Susan or whoever, you get HomeCloud. It's the same standard every time. And then we get those reports back within 24 hours. And so that's our process. For anybody that uses us the first time, we're either giving them $500 in repair credits on the back end, or a free radon and termite test.
Right.
That being said, we don't want to work with everyone at this point. We want to work with folks that, are innovators, people that want to provide feedback to us. And, I've been texting with a couple of agents that used us this week for the first time, and they're the right agents. They're people that are saying, hey, have you thought about this? Or would you like to add that? And that's the nice thing, is like, our process is ever evolving. It's doing something that the inspection hasn't done, which has stayed the same since 1980 when the industry first started. We're actually taking feedback. We're adding new things to our process every day. We're changing the way that the reports can be accessed or viewed, and that's what the consumer wants. And when there's no alternative to an inspection, there's no need for them to change and adapt to consumers' needs. And so I do hope that this overall will be good for the industry, and will drive change even with your more traditional inspector.
Cool. George, thank you so much. Guys, if you're catching this podcast, definitely check out HomeCloud and consider them for your next inspection. Of course, we'll share all of George's info in the show notes here. And thanks for being with us on the Triangle Real Estate Podcast, George.
Thanks for having me, Matt.